videos relating to the Lord. It's about 5, 7, 8 to 9 minutes of viewing in YouTube, in your smartphone. It's really, really very good for you to talk to God and listen to the Lord through other people. Okay? What's the first step that we need to do? We have to listen. The second one, we need to look. Is that when you read the Bible, yan, ganon, nakakatakot, no? Why? Kasi if you would read in Micah, it says there, I will take vengeance in anger and wrath on the nations that have not obeyed me. Isipin mo yun? Gaganti ang Panginoon sa mga tao na hindi sumusunod sa Kanya. Vengeful talaga eh. Vengeful God. Kaya nakakatakot. Another verse that we need to see is in, where is this? Can we flash it? In Nahum. Can you read with me, brothers and sisters? The Lord is a jealous and avenging God. The Lord takes vengeance and is filled with wrath. The Lord takes vengeance on His foes and bends His wrath against His enemies. Pagkakaaway ka ng Panginoon, pag ikaw ay hindi naniniwala sa Kanya, ay gagantihan ka niya. Meron siyang gagawing masama sa iyo. Pagka sinabi yung wrath sa Old Testament, kamatayan ng kapalit mo. Kaya nakakatakot, di ba? Here's another verse that I would want you to see and read together so that you would understand what am I talking about as a vengeful God. In Ezekiel, it says there, I will carry out great vengeance on them and punish them in my wrath. And they will know that I am the Lord when I take vengeance on them. Pag meron ng nangyaring masama, maaalala nila na, ako, si God ito, meron siyang ginawa sa ating masama. But the recommendation that I would like you to understand is to read every Bible verse through the lens of Jesus. Through the lens of Jesus. Okay? Kung merong vengeful God, makaka-encounter din kayo ng dun 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 dun. Murderous God. Talaga, Brad? Yes. You will also encounter a murderous God when you read the Bible. Let's look at Exodus. It says there, anyone, read with me, please, together. Anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death. Dun, 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 dun. Galit ba kayo sa nanay at tatay nyo? Ayan. Noong unang panahon, if you curse your mom and dad, you will be put to death. Simpleng-simple. Diba? Kayo ay ipapapatay. Parang nakakatuwa, no? Hindi nakakatuwa. Isa pang verse that I would want you to read about God that maybe would give you a bad image of Him. It's taken again in Exodus. Together, for 6 days, work is to be done. But the 7th day shall be your holy day, a day of Sabbath, rest to the Lord. Whoever does any work on it is to be put to death. Pag ikaw daw ay nagtrabaho sa araw ng pahinga, ikaw ay ipapapatay. Grabe, no? Nakakatakot. Isa pa, para lalo kayong matakot. Deuteronomy, together, let us read. If someone has a son, it says there, if someone has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not obey his father and mother and will not listen to them when they discipline him, his father and mother shall take hold of him and bring him to the elders at the gate of his town. They shall say to the elders, This son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Then all the men of his town are to stone him to death. Pag ikaw ay matigas ang ulo, hindi sumusunod, dadaling ka sa gate ng baryo at ikaw ay babatuhin hanggang sa mamatay. Di ba? Nakatakot. God is a murderous God. So aside from a vengeful God and a murderous God, you will also see a God that is, ito mabigat, genocidal. Dun, 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 dun. Yan. You will also encounter a genocidal God. And you might be wondering, really? God kills people? Yes. In the Old Testament, there are a lot of verses that specify that God has wiped out nations and race. He ordains the massacre of nations, men, women, and children. Let's read Deuteronomy. When Sihon and all his army came out to meet us in battle at Jahaz, the Lord our God delivered him over to us, and we struck him down together with his sons and his whole army. At that time, we took all his towns and completely destroyed them. Men, women, and children. We left no survivors. Nothing has left. God wiped out. Genocide. Diba? Another verse. At that time, we took all his towns and completely destroyed them. Another one from Deuteronomy again. The Lord said to me, do not be afraid of him, for I have delivered him into your hands, along with his whole army and his land. Do to him what you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites. At that time, we took all his cities. There was not one of the 60 cities that we did not take from them. We completely destroyed them, as we had done with Sihon, king of Heshbon, destroying every city, men, women, and children. Lahat talaga wipe out. Diba? Nakakatakot parang mabuhay ng mga panahon na yon. Pag hindi ka naniwala kay God, wipe out ka. The Israelites will conquer you and they will wipe out your race. Last verse that will describe the genocidal God. Let's read together. Joshua chapter 6. They devoted the city to the Lord and destroyed with the sword every living thing in it. Men and women, young and old, cattle, sheep, and donkey. Lahat, all living things in the city were destroyed. Diba? So God, when you read the Bible, you will encounter a vengeful God, a murderous God, a genocidal God. But what am I telling you today? Look at all the verses in the Bible through the lens of Jesus. There is also a special mention that I want to tell you in the book of Psalms. Actually, the Israelites prayed for this. The Israelites prayed for this. And it says there in Psalms. Together, let's read, brothers and sisters. And this is going to be very disturbing. Happy is the one who takes your babies and smashes them against the rocks. Grabe, di ba? The Israelites are praying for this because they believe that they are a chosen race. Only for the Lord. Yung iba hindi. Kaya kailangan natin silang i-conquer, kailangan natin silang i-wipe out because they do not obey God. The only way to understand these passages is to acknowledge three words. Revelation, is progressive. Can you say it with me? Revelation is progressive. What do I mean by that? Brothers and sisters, the Bible records the entire process of understanding God from its primitive stage all the way to Jesus. And Jesus is the final revelation. Can you say it with me? Jesus is the final revelation. Jesus is the Word. He is the ultimate. Siya na yung last. And He is the fulfillment of God's Word. And so, in this journey of yours, when you read the Bible, you have to ask, when you read this kind of verse, you have to ask, WWJD. What does it mean? What would Jesus do? So if you encounter a vengeful God, that your image of the Lord is vengeful, look at what would Jesus do. And it says there in John, when Jesus encountered the adulterous woman brought to him by the Pharisees, what did he say? He said, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her." Sino man ang hindi nagkasala, siya ang unang bumato. And what happened? Slowly, the elders and the Pharisees, one by one left until no one was there with the adulterous woman and with Jesus. Jesus is a very compassionate man. And that is also what is asked of you. To be forgiving, to be compassionate, to be like Jesus. Can you tap the person next to you? Tap to that person. Be like Jesus. Yan. Be like Jesus. What if you encounter in your image of God, He is murderous and genocidal? Look at John 3, verse 17. And it says there, "For God did not send His Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through Him." When you wish for others to die, ask the question, what would Jesus do? Sometimes yung mga tao na nakasakit sa inyo, gusto nyo, kunin na sila ni Lord. Ba? Lord, eto na naman siya. Ayaw tumigil. Pwede ba? Kunin mo na. But ask the question. What is the question? What would Jesus do? And remember, John 3:17. Jesus died for you, for me, for all of us. And He is not an image of a murderous and a genocidal God. He is an image of a loving, forgiving, and a person that is ready to die for you. Tingnan mo yung katabi mo. Handa ba yung mamatay para sa iyo? Anong sagot nyo? Bro, next topic. Ano yung susunod? What is the recommendations that we are telling you earlier? When you read the Bible, what is step 1? You listen. Step 2, you look. And step 3, love. You love. After reading the scriptures, the best action that you will do is to love. That's the best action. In James, it says, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Say it with me. Do what it says. Punch the person next to you. Tell that person, do what it says. That's the only way. When you look at verses in the Bible, when you look at scriptures in the lens of God, the action that you will do is step 3. You will love. Pero sometimes, you might ask, brother, ang hirap. Hirap magmahal eh. Lalo na pagka paulit-ulit, di ba? Na nagkakamali. Sinasabi mo kung ano yung dapat gawin. Mali pa din. Hindi makuha. Hirap mahalin. Tapos, sa pagalit. Pag pinagsabihan mo. Tapos, nakikita mo yan dito sa peace, nag-a-attend. Nakakasalubong mo. Hirap magmahal. Hirap gawin pagka nakabasa ka ng love sa Bible, tapos you act on it. Sometimes it's very hard. And that is why I want you to focus on what you do best. Focus so that it will be simple. Because if you make everything equally important, nothing is important. What am I saying? Brothers and sisters, this is an analogy. It is important to be with God, to give time to Him. Pero, if we don't have focus, it's all a waste. Why? Example, in my smartphone, I have 2,223 contacts. If I would say to all these 2,000 contacts of mine, you are all my best friend, do you think something will happen to me? Yes. My wife will ask me, what do you mean they are all your best friend? How about me? What am I? I am just one of them? Diba? If we put everything, if we make everything important, then nothing is important anymore. Because everything is just the same. And so it's also the same. To be effective in life, I need to be focused on my core, on what I do best. What do you do best? Do you love to chat with people? Focus on that. But bring the Lord with you. Do you love to go and browse Facebook every day? Do you devote like an hour every day to browse Facebook? Be good on that, but make sure you share the Lord. Amen? And I want you to remember that life will spontaneously complicate itself. What do I mean by that? It will constantly evolve. But if you will not define your core and label something that is important, everything will become important and it goes back to the same. Nothing is already important. When you love God, focus on your love for God. Make it important in your life. And it will become your core. Sa umpisa, mahirap. Sa umpisa, mahirap gawin dahil puno ang schedule. Wala kang time. Pero, take an effort. Sacrifice. Because in your sacrifice, God will reward your effort. Amen? Those of you who are attending feast here for some time already, and some of you are already like probably serving, and some of you have been connected with God for some time already. You might be asking, so brother, what is really important? Because in my faith, I am asked to read the Bible. I am asked to pray the rosary every day. I am asked to probably listen to podcasts. I am asked to evangelize. I am asked to share Jesus to others. What is the most important to me? Let me answer your question in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13. And this is what it says. These three remains: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. The most important is love. The problem with religious people, including me, is that we know too much and we love too little. You know, as we walk with the Lord, dumadami yung kaalaman namin sa Panginoon. Nakakalimutan namin magmahal ng lubos sa ibang tao. And sometimes also, for some of us who are getting close to the Lord, we want to know God more in our lives, but then we forget that we have to also put in action the knowledge that we know about God. And that is to love others. Amen? To love God is also to love other people. And that is what I would like you to remember today. And as you read your scripture, love the people in your life. So that you did not only listen, you did not only see by looking at it, you have acted on it by loving God in your life today. We just need to love, period. Can you say that with me? We just need to love, period. That's it. That's the only thing that this Bible, that this book contains the love of God for you and me. And it's not only by head knowledge. It needs to have a heart knowledge. But don't get me wrong. I am not against advanced studies, okay? A lot of my friends, a lot of the builders, a lot of people that I know who are serving the Lord are studying more about God. And that is good. But the question is this going to make me more loving than like Jesus? When I study more about God, will it make me more loving? If I know more God in my life, will I love more the people in my life? That question I leave to you. But our encouragement today is that when you read God here in the Bible, you have to love Him. Amen? You have to love more. And make your love seen by other people. Can we all stand, brothers and sisters?